attention.
Give the ball up and over, touchdown!
But it's the ordinary guys who in one fleeting breath can become legends forever.
It is blocked! It's going to run! It's going to run! He's going to score! David Wagner!
10, the 5, Tillman. He's in! Touchdown, Auburn! It's good! It's good! It's good! Van Tiffin has won the ball game.
What a pass! On the button! Touchdown! McGadley! Go crazy! Touchdown, Auburn!
When it's over, half the state's going to be ecstatic, while the other half's going home with a broken heart. Welcome to the Iron Bowl.
As Warren St. John told you in the open, if you are born in Alabama, you are expected to declare loyalty at birth. Alabama or Auburn, it is a lifetime commitment. John Pruitt of the Huntsville Times, a sports editor, is witnessing his 70th Iron Bowl game today. He said this about the game: the joy of winning it never makes up for the misery of losing it. That is especially true for the seniors.
It's the Iron Bowl, you know, it's the biggest game of our career, biggest game of our season each year, you know, because this is the biggest rivalry game in college football.
This is pretty much how you're going to be remembered through the whole season. No matter what happens, you throw the record aside, and, you know, it's all what happens in the Iron Bowl, you know, who's going to get the brag for the next year.
This is the game everybody remembers. You know, we can go 1-10. If we beat Auburn, everybody's happy. And, you know, we hadn't done it yet as a senior class, and that ain't how you want to go out.
38 seniors will put it on the line today. What they have in common, both teams, overtime losses to LSU. But a lot to play for, Todd, and what do you expect today?
Well, this is an intense physical rivalry. It's going to be very much like a heavyweight prize fight. Both these teams have a powerful right hand. Auburn has the best offense in the league. Alabama, the best defensive unit. I think the game will be decided by which team has the stronger left hand. Both Alabama's offense and Auburn's defense have had some struggles over the last couple weeks. Whichever one of those units steps up today, that will determine who wins this football game.
Here come the Tigers. The Crimson Tide. Kickoff coming up.
Well, it's another day's journey and away. It's over.
When this game is complete, they're going on the road. Freddie Roach and the Crimson Tide.
We're glad to be here too.
This game, as are all SEC games on CBS, brought to you in high definition. It is a spectacular mid-November afternoon. 60 degrees, very slight humidity, sunny skies, and a small breeze. The 70th meeting, as we've mentioned, Alabama leads it. Auburn has won the last 3. Look how close the scores have been. It'll be Matt Clark to kick off as Auburn won the toss, deferred to the second half. Glenn Coffey and Brandon Brooks will be the deep men. Brandon Brooks, the senior, 5'5", 165. In trouble. Gets to the outside and does not get quite to the 20-yard line. And we go down to Tracy Wolfson.
Thanks, guys. Alabama had a tough time this week getting over their loss to LSU, but what made it easier was knowing that Auburn was up next. It was time to pick up the pieces and move on because there's a lot at stake in this one. A 10-win season, a BCS bowl berth, and most importantly, bragging rights. Brody Croyle said, "We didn't come this far to settle for 9-2. That's not good enough. Winning this game is what we want to be remembered for. That's how you want to go out with a win over Auburn."
In every game this season, on their first offensive snap, Alabama has thrown a pass, and in every game this season, they have completed the pass. They're going for the 11th. Wayne Dickens, number 96.
Well, this was supposed to be a quick throw by Brody Croyle, and he didn't throw it quick. You can see a lot of pressure defense for Auburn today. Wayne Dickens, not really known as a pass rusher, but they got to Croyle because he wasn't able to throw that thing quickly off the 3-step drop.
4.5 sacks now for the year for Wayne Dickens. And this young offensive line of Alabama struggled mightily last week against LSU. Draw play, Kenneth Darby got a couple. It'll be 3rd and a bunch.
Well, I think Kenneth Darby is going to be a big factor in the game today if Alabama is to have a chance to win.
Brody Croyle, one of the seniors. You have heard from him up front. Here's that young offensive line. One senior, Taylor Britt. He's starting the 2nd game of his career. Darby in the backfield. McClain, DJ Hall, Keith Brown, the wideouts, Nick Walker, the tight end, as the lineups are presented by BP. 3rd and 13 out of the spread. Auburn has 3 men down. They bring 4. McClever from the outside, and Croyle is sacked for the 2nd time.
Well, not a good start at all if you're an Alabama fan. 2 sacks in the first 3 plays. This time it was Quentin Groves who they brought in as an extra rusher. So they've got McClever and Groves, their fastest pass rushers, and it's an underneath stunt by Groves, and they just collapsed the pocket again. Very poor execution on the pass protection by Alabama on 2 of their first 3 plays.
Now the 5'7" senior, Jeremy Schatz, will punt it to Trey Smith. This net punting is woeful for the Crimson Tide. Trey Smith, the return man, has had fumble problems this year. Oh boy, Schatz nails this one.
They didn't get the playoff, and they've been dangerously close on 1st down and now on 4th down, not getting the playoff in the time allotted, the 25-second clock. And right now, Alabama they need to pick up their tempo, or this game could get ugly quickly. You see the play clock on the left, and you see the personal protector flapping his arm saying, "Snap the ball, snap the ball." As it is, Alabama back even further. And, we talked about the left hands, the Auburn defense, the Alabama offense. It's not just scoring and points allowed, it's also field position. And a huge advantage right away on the first possession for Auburn.
Schatz will punt it again. Trey Smith perched at the 45-yard line. Return is on all the way. This one not as effective, quite high. Smith, fair catch at the 40-yard line. And the reaction, I think, is indicative of the belief by some here that he could have returned it. 37-yard punt. Here's the 22-year-old sophomore Brandon Cox. After a horrid start in which he threw 4 interceptions in the second half of a loss to Georgia Tech, he's only thrown 3 since.
Yeah, his demeanor and how he was able to bounce back after the performance in his first start has been remarkable. And Al Borges, his offensive coordinator, has done a great job helping him along.
Kenny Irons, who has been on fire the last 6 games, bounces off a tackle, gets inside the 40, down to the 39-yard line. Offensively for the Tigers of Auburn, this is a very good offensive line. McNeil rubs. Jonathan Palmer starts for an injured Joe Cope at center, Duckworth and Reddick. Irons, Slaughter in the backfield, Aroma Shadu, Obamanu, the wideouts, and Cooper Wallace is the tight end.
I think one of the things we're going to see from Auburn is a lot of misdirection plays, particularly early. Bootlegs, reverses, things to try to take advantage of this speed.
There's Brandon Cox. Got it out to Jake Slaughter. Beautiful timing by Cox because he had DeMarco Ryans in his face.
Well, there was a bootleg. Again, when you play against a fast defense, you have to do things to try to get them running one way. Watch the fake go this way. Cox will come out on the bootleg, and he knows he's got to get his head around and his eyes around and get rid of the football quickly. He does that because Ryans is bearing down on him. And because he was a left-handed quarterback coming out that way, he was able to flick that ball out to his fullback Slaughter very quickly.
DeMeco Ryans right at the point of the release and knows how close he came. First down, Auburn at the 25-yard line. They fake the reverse, give it off to Kenny Irons, and there's fine penetration defensively by Freddie Roach. He's the middle linebacker. Let's check this outstanding Alabama defense. Up front, Gilberry, Griffin, Clark, and Anderson. The linebackers, Simpson, Roach, and DeMeco Ryans. And the secondary, veterans all, Madison, Harper, Pepra, and Ramsey Robinson. Mike Shula, in his 3rd year as the head coach, has lost his first 2 encounters in the Iron Bowl. 2nd and 11. Cox flips it out, caught by his tight end inside the 25. Flag is down in the backfield.
Well, the area of the flag would suggest maybe a late hit on the quarterback by Wallace Gilberry.
Roughing the passer, number 41 defense.
Roman Harper, actually, the free safety.
Automatic first down.
And this is not a good start for Alabama. Now, this was a good defensive play. Ball's gone. No need to hit him. Roman Harper, an experienced player, 3-year starter, one of those senior leaders on this defense. Just an unnecessary penalty that gives Auburn an automatic first down. Last week against LSU in the 4th quarter, LSU had 4 drives that were in Alabama territory, and they scored no points. So Alabama very tough when the ball's in their own territory, but a costly penalty right there.
First down just outside the 10. Aroma Shadu and Obamanu in motion. Here's the option and the toss to Kenny Irons. Good job defensively early on by Charlie Pepra, who forced that play to the outside. And the red zone for the season. There's Kenny Irons. 36 trips for the Tigers, 20 touchdowns, 9 of which have been field goals.
And on the other side, Alabama, the best in the conference in red zone defense. 23 possessions against them, only 6 touchdowns allowed.
Trey Smith, the running back, is coming in motion now across the backfield. They fake it, go the misdirection route. Here's Cox in the end zone. Caught. Auburn touchdown. Ben Obamanu. Pretty efficient drive after 2 sacks defensively in the first 3 plays. John Vaughn for the extra point. quickly. It's 7-0.
One of the things Alabama's Joe Kynes told us, we've got to be able to defend the bunch look. Here's a bunch formation, and Obamanu's going to come out of that bunch to right here. And again, the second bootleg we've seen in this possession, fake that run, slip the quarterback out to a different position, and Obamanu comes out of that pack of receivers into an open spot in the end zone. Good execution, and Auburn on the board first.
Tigers lead 7-0.
DJ Shockley almost pulled off the win over this Auburn team last week. Played a great game, threw for over 300 yards as you take a look at the SEC East standings.
Auburn team won that one in Athens 31-30. In the 112-year history between these two teams, or between those two rather, Georgia Auburn, one of the most exciting ever. Here's Brandon Brooks awaiting the kick by Matt Clark, and this one through the end zone and come out to the 20. Watch an exclusive SEC college football highlight show and get complete coverage from all of today's action. Check it out tonight on CBSSportsline.com.
I'll tell you what, I think Alabama needs to wake up, because they do not look like they are ready to play in this kind of a ball game of what it's going to take from them today. And Auburn is good enough on offense. If Alabama doesn't get it in gear quickly, they could blow Alabama out. That's how good they are on offense. You say, well, they scored a touchdown the first possession. Alabama's only given up 9 touchdowns the whole game, or the whole season.
Gets a receiving team. Number 3 on the run back. Penalties half the distance to the goal. Respond the foul. First down.
Well, Mike Shula's team had a 10-0 lead over LSU at home last week. They really were overwhelmed in the second half, lost in overtime. How much of this start might be due to a hangover effect?
Well, it might be a lot. I mean, and it looks just like they looked when they came out of the locker room in the second half. It was 14 plays and 100 yards for LSU, and then they settled down. But by that time, LSU had changed the whole momentum of the game.
After the penalty, it's Darby on the sweep to the right. Nothing there. T.J. Jackson, Travis Williams. DB. Here's how they started the game. Marquise Gunn has had a terrific season. Stanley McClover bothered by a high ankle sprain all year. Dede Williams and Williams, the linebackers, Travis and Antarius. And in the secondary, Jay Wilhite, Will Herring, Steve Gandy today, and David Irons, who is the brother of the running back, Kenny Irons. 2nd and 9. Coyle under Taylor Britt. Play fake, right side, nothing there. Wow. Keith Brown, and he gets up gimpy.
They got hit right in the back of the leg as they were trying to throw that wide receiver screen, and that's a tough play against a team that plays a lot of press man-to-man like this Auburn defense. I mean, David Irons is right on him from the very beginning, so there's no chance to fool him or to get a lineman out in front of him when he's playing right up in the receiver's face like that. And once again, a 3rd and long situation for Alabama. And I would say this is critical that they at least hit a pass and gain some yards here, and particularly not take another sack.
Ezekiel Knight replaces Keith Brown. Knight dropped 3 balls last week. Screen pass. Right side, no help. 4th down. David Irons, Travis Williams, Alabama punt.
Well, last week against LSU to start the second half, 2 3-and-outs, and LSU scored the first 2 possessions of the second half to tie the ball game. And field position was a big story last week, and so far today, it's a big story again.
Trey Smith. Jeremy Schatz to punt. This one not very effective. It will go out of bounds, and where will it be marked? At the 32-yard line. A 37-yard punt followed by a 23-yard punt. Great start if you're a Tiger. Nightmarish start if you have a habit of saying roll tide.
On their last possession, it started with a little misdirection. Flip out to the fullback, Jake Slaughter, off the bootleg. Then a costly penalty against senior Roman Harper. Get Kenny Irons involved in the game, a little 6-yard run, and then another misdirection. Fake the run, bootleg out, Ben Obamanu with the touchdown, and a very nice start for the sophomore Brandon Cox.
See the average start now, the 36-yard line, as the Eagle Tiger has enjoyed him or herself so far. Don't want to be wrong. First down and 10. Backs in the eye. Kenny Irons behind Slaughter, the fullback. This is Obamanu who starts in motion. And the play change from the sophomore Brandon Cox. Mr. Football his senior year at Hewitt-Trussville High School. Here's Irons down to the 29-yard line. And let's go back to our New York studio. Here's Tim Brennan.
All right, big goings on in the state of Tennessee, Vern. Jay Cutler, 6 yards to Earl Bennett. This is the kid that was penalized for excessive celebration at the end of regulation in the Florida game, you might recall, that caused that game to go to overtime, kept Vandy from going for 2. Vandy leads it now. Tennessee has been in a bowl every year since '88. Back to Vernon Todd.
Wow is right. Wow. Second down and 8. Here's Kenny Irons, and Cox comes deep. Oh, he's got a man open at the 10. That's Courtney Taylor, number 86, who's been hobbled all year long by one of those high ankle sprains.
Well, it's kind of a soft coverage over there by Ramsey Robinson, and Taylor able to bend it inside before the safety could get there, and a very nice timing throw by Brandon Cox. If he waits a little bit late on that throw, the safety can come over and make the play. But Courtney Taylor with his 19th catch of the year.
Courtney Taylor with that great hustle play at the end of the win over Georgia last week, recovered the fumble from Aroma Shadu in the end zone, preserving possession of the ball, and it led to the winning field goal. Here's Irons. Big hole. Huge hole. Touchdown, Auburn.
Well, again, you see the bunch formation by Auburn, the fake of the misdirection, and it's just a basic running play, but you got all that other stuff going on, and Kenny Irons is able to get it to the end zone.
Kenny Irons began his career at South Carolina, was unhappy there. His brother David was at Butler Junior College. They'd both been recruited by Auburn. He came here, sat out. That's Eddie Gran, the running backs coach, who's congratulating him. And he has erupted from midseason on. Had 1 carry in the loss to Georgia Tech. And now
is under further review.
Apparently there is the possibility of a fumble at the goal line.
Well, here's Kenny Irons backing towards the goal line.
Oh.
Did the ball cross the plane before it was knocked out? It looked like it was knocked out.
Anthony Madison with the first hit.
Still has it there.
Still has it. Tries to move.
If he crossed the plane before the hit from Freddie Roach, then it's going to be a touchdown. It'll stay as a touchdown. Roach recovered the football at the end of the play.
And of course,
you almost have to see it coming right down the line, away from him.
Or you don't have, you won't have the evidence to refute it, to change it. From the end zone, it's hard to tell.
Right. He's reaching the ball for the goal line, and you see his right shoulder over the goal line, but was the ball there first?
Okay.
And again, the ruling on the field was touchdown, and it has to be indisputable evidence to overturn that call. And they only have the shots that we have, and so if there is not a shot coming from the other side, it's going to be difficult to overturn that, I would think.
The replay official is Al Ford, so he's taking a look upstairs as Mike Shula and Tommy Tuberville await the decision. Here we go.
After further review, the play as called on the field stands. It's a touchdown.
Rocky Good, the referee. I really do think, Todd, that's simply a case they don't have anything to by which they could definitively say,
Yeah, you're right. And what a start for the Auburn Tigers. 2 short fields for the offense that has been the most explosive offense in the league, and they capitalized both times.
John Vaughn, the junior, with the extra point. Great defense, field position, offensive domination. It all leads to a prayer, which is something right now Alabama needs.
Let's take a look at our playbook presented by the Hartford. Auburn's second touchdown. Now they're going to bring a guy in motion and get into this bunch formation again. It's going to be a basic running play, but you're going to see the Alabama defense so confused because they've got to be aware of so many things. As to the handoff is made, they got to look at reverse over here, possible bootleg over here. Instead, it's Kenny Irons running right through the middle of the defense for a touchdown. Good execution by this Auburn offense, and that bunch formation and what they do off of it really has created problems for all of their opponents this season.
Kenny Irons caps the scoring run, his 13th touchdown of the season. Young man out of Decula, Georgia, began his career at South Carolina, as we mentioned. Here's Matt Clark. This one returnable. Brandon Brooks at the 1. Skips to the right, shakes a tackle, down to the 24.
From the 1-yard line to the 25.
Tuesday on CBS, rappel down a mountain, come face to face with a grizzly, and hurdle off a ski jump from the safety of your living room. Get in on the adventure of the Emmy-winning Amazing Race. Tuesday on CBS, America's most watched network.
You know, I was in a game like this once, my junior year in college. We were playing the University of Pittsburgh on the road, and they were ranked #1 with Dan Marino as the quarterback, and they jumped on us 14-0, just like this, and we were completely out of the game. We were able to come back and score 48 unanswered points. I don't know if this Alabama offense is capable of that.
Not if plays like that. There's a fumble in the backfield as Darby and Croyle got
boy, they just look so. They just don't look like, you know, we've seen them a lot this year, and they've obviously struggled offensively, but they just don't look like they are even with their mind in the game right now. Things like that, the kind of penalties they've had, the miscommunication on a simple exchange like that, just does not suggest that Alabama is over that loss to LSU from last week.
And obviously there, Darby and Croyle had a different play in mind from each other. 2nd and 15. Empty backfield now, Croyle. Quick setup inside. Keith Brown drops it. Well, in the loss last week to LSU, 8 drops by the wideouts and the tight ends for this Alabama team.
If you go against a good defense, you better be productive on first down. This is what LSU did in the second half on their first down plays. And you can see really only 2 of them in there that you would consider wins on offense. Everything else was a loss. And so far today, they have done nothing on first down, and that puts them in these long third down situations like they're in again right now.
3rd and 15. Croyle under pressure. That's 3 sacks in the first 3 possessions.
See, Alabama's not going to be able to throw on these guys on third down. They've got to throw on first down off play action and make some plays on early downs. When they get into this, and Auburn brings those speed rushers, they're not even blitzing. I mean, they're just rushing 4 guys, and it looks like a jailbreak in the backfield. T.J. Jackson even getting it on the action. He's the run stopper. He's in the backfield.
Jeremy Schatz for the 3rd time in the first quarter. Trey Smith again at midfield. This one a little more effective. Smith at the 45-yard line. Fair catch called.
At the 45.
A 43-yard punt. That's pretty agile for a 320-pound defensive lineman. Yeah?
Sumu-esque.
This
This was last week's Pontiac game-changing performance. Trailing Georgia 30-28 late in the fourth quarter, Auburn quarterback Brandon Cox hit Devin Aromashudu for the 62-yard completion, setting up the game-winning field goal and keeping Auburn alive in the hunt for the SEC championship. View this week's top plays and vote for the Pontiac game-changing performance. If you see a game-changing performance, nominate it. The winning school will receive a $5,000 general scholarship contribution.
14-0 Auburn. If you're Alabama now, you've got to lean on your defense. It is up to the Alabama defense, who has played great all season, to step up right now and put an end to what's going on right now.
Here's Cox with time. Now he has to settle for his backup receiver, but he finds Cooper Wallace, number 8. And let's go back to the studio for this game-changing performance powered by Pontiac. Here's Tim.
Season-changing too. Vern, the Vols' 22-game win streak ends over Vanderbilt as Jared Fagan intercepts Rick Clausen. This means only 6 bowl-eligible teams. The Music City Bowl likely without an SEC team this year. Back to Vern and Todd.
That is stunning. What has become of Tennessee this year, just unbelievable. Here's Tristan Davis, number 27, who erupted in the win over Kentucky. 8 carries, 162 yards. Started the year as a defensive back, went to running back because of injuries, back to defensive back. Now he's back at running back.
And he's the fastest guy on the team. He's one of the fastest guys on the whole roster. And Brad Lester, who was the starter at times in the backup, still bothered by a groin injury from the Arkansas game, and so that's why Tristan Davis is in there right now.
Davis is a redshirt freshman from East Point, Georgia. Lost 2 on the last play. Here's Cox, quick setup. There's Obamanu, a spin. He's to the 44. Brandon Cox out of Hewitt-Trussville High School, the Huskies, has been dealing with an illness called myasthenia gravis. It's a muscular disorder. Forced him to sit out of school, to leave school for a while. Came back, had a redshirt season, backed up Jason Campbell last year. Grew up an ardent Alabama fan. Wanted to play there. Loved Jay Barker, same high school. But Dennis Franchione, who was the coach then, had Brody Coyle. Didn't recruit him heavily, and he wound up at Auburn. And he's settled in to have a really fine year. Here's the reverse. Obamanu, he's got a blocker down. He's got room. He does a little shifty run. Now it's a foot race into the end zone. Touchdown, Auburn. .45 yards for the senior from Selma, Alabama. Second touchdown today. John Vaughn with the extra point. It is 21-0.
And once again, the misdirection play. They're going to fake the run this way. They're going to bring Obamanu back on the reverse. Watch the lead block by the fullback, Jake Slaughter, as he gets out and leads this play. You get the defense running one way. Come back with misdirection. Jake Slaughter out there leading the play in front. He's got 2 guys occupied with his block, and Obamanu just cuts right behind him and then all the way across the field. This Auburn offense, too much for the Alabama defense here in the first quarter.
All right, Tim, 21-0 here. I actually got to do a Harvard-Yale game once back in the 70s. Dan Jiggets was a starter for that Harvard team. I saw a guy in a raccoon coat. I thought that was terrific. Well, this one has been all in the eye of the tiger. Here's the 4th kickoff by Clark, a touchback, Brandon Brooks. And Alabama's coming back on the field, and so far in this game, they are -25 offensively. Jake Slaughter.
Yeah, I mean, Jake Slaughter is a guy, 0 carries. And you look at his career, only 0 carries this year. 7 receptions, but a very integral part of what they're doing this year, because last year Ronnie Brown and Carnell Williams played a lot in the same backfield. So the traditional fullback was not used as much. This year there is no Ronnie Brown, and so the regular fullback Jake Slaughter on the field much more for the Auburn offense.
Hand off Darby, and again nothing doing. Stanley McClover, number 75. Kevin Sears, number 40. 8 weeks into the TV season, only one team stands undefeated. CBS has more viewers than any other network every single week. For the best dramas, the top comedies, and the #1 show on television, see for yourself why CBS is the undisputed winner, America's most watched network. 2nd down and 9.
Play clock's already down to 8.
Coyle nailed, 4th sack.
They blitzed safety and a linebacker, and nobody on the backside to protect Brody Croyle. When they motion the back out of the backfield, that leaves over 1. They're going to bring this guy and this guy. Too many guys for Alabama to block on the backside. 3 rushers, only 2 blockers, and the guy who comes free is Antarius Williams.
This might have a familiar ring to it. It's 3rd and 15.
Yeah, they've averaged 13 yards needed on a 3rd down play so far. This one even worse.
4 sacks already. Timeout. Taylor Britt didn't see Croyle turn. Fortunately for the Crimson Tide, time was given because the snap went into the end zone. This has been an abysmal start for the Crimson Tide. Penn State, Ohio State, Penn State at Michigan State later this afternoon. It's 3rd and 15. Coyle with a play fake. He's in trouble again.
This is sad. I mean, TJ Jackson, the defensive coaches, told us yesterday, he said, you know what, he can't rush the passer very well. He's our run stopper, he's a flugger. He doesn't get in the backfield. This is twice now. This is 5 sacks for the Auburn defense, 2 by a guy who's not supposed to rush the passer. TJ Jackson right there just whips through the block of the guard, B.J. Stabler, and gets to the quarterback. And this is absolute domination by the Auburn Tigers. And I am shocked.
5 sacks in 4 possessions. Here's shots again. It's short. Trey Smith runs under it in the sunlight and is tackled. No fair catch caught this time. So far, Auburn has had the football at the 40, the 31, their own 45, and now the 41 again. Geico presents college football's 10 greatest quarterbacks next Friday at 1:30. Todd Blackledge will host that one. And then the SEC on CBS as the Arkansas Razorbacks take on the Tigers of LSU at 2:30 Eastern Time. LSU with destiny in its own hands. They defeated both of these teams this year, and both games went into overtime. Here's Cox out of the backfield. That one is caught by Preche Rodriguez.
Fumble,
15,
ball's on the ground.
and a fumble.
What are they ruling? Fumble.
And Alabama ball.
You know, last week, LSU did not commit a turnover. It was the first game in 26 games that Alabama's defense had not forced one. The question is it a little bit too little, too late, trailing 21-0, but that's what Alabama needed. Not only to get something positive, but also to flip the field position a little bit. You can see Rodriguez, a young receiver, fighting for extra yardage instead of going down, and Pepra rips the ball out.
And here here comes the Alabama Crimson Tide, hoping to find a solution to this pass rush of the Auburn Tigers. 5 sacks, and we've not yet completed the first quarter. 1st and 10. Darby. A couple that looked promising for just a moment. Well, I think it's safe to say that it all began to go awry offensively for Alabama when they lost Tyrone Prothro on October 1st. Prothro with that double fractured left leg. He is present today. Made the trip down with the team, but oh, do they miss him.
This game here is not a matter of who they don't have as you look at Tyrone Prothro. This game has been about the guys who didn't come to play.
Draw play again. Darby tries to get outside. He's got some room. And that really is the first positive offensive play for Alabama in this one.
Kenneth Darby talked a lot this week about wanting the ball. Felt like he didn't get the ball enough last week in the second half against LSU.
A 14-yard gain.
He's had it a few times today with nowhere to run, but this time he gets out on the corner, finds a crease, and gets a much-needed first down for the Alabama offense. And they have got to get a little juice in what they're doing offensively here. And it starts up front with the big guys.
Coyle will throw. Little swing pass to Darby. He reverses direction, cuts inside, gets to the 44-yard line. 20 seconds to go in the first quarter here. Let's go back to New York. Here's Tim.
All right, Vernon Todd, a little controversy in Lubbock. Watch Torian Henderson, a 2-yard run. They're going to rule that he's on the defensive tackle before he reaches out. So because he was on the player's body, they reviewed it. It's a touchdown. Texas Tech beats Oklahoma. They've gone final. Ohio State does beat Michigan.
What a day in college football. Again, we have reached the end of the first from Jordan-Hare Stadium in Auburn. 21-0. We'll return to Auburn after this message. And a word from your local station. Football Hall of Fame in December, and today the field was named Pat Dye Field.
Are Nancy McDonald.
Pat Dye Field has been very good to Pat Dye's team so far. 21-0 as we get set for the start of the second quarter. Second down and 9. Coyle stumbles, gets it off to Kenneth Darby. He's got some room. Down the sidelines, banged out of bounds at the 25.
Well, this is exactly what Alabama needed. Their defense got the turnover to try and change the complexion a little bit. Now their offense, because of Ken Darby and his will to succeed, breaks a couple tackles, gets outside the defense for the second time in this possession. And Alabama with a chance to kind of turn the tide in the game a little bit, because this one was about to get away from them.
Well, they finally get back to positive yardage after just a horrid first quarter. First down and 10. Glenn Coffey is in the backfield. Now McClain is the only setback behind Coyle. He fires it, and there is the second drop of the first half. Really an amazing start to this ball game, Todd.
Well, the amazing thing to me is that in a rivalry this big, in a game that means so much to both players and the fans of both teams, Alabama did not come out as ready to play as Auburn did. And Auburn, to their credit, completely took advantage of that. Their offense was sharp. Their defense dominated Alabama's offense in the first quarter, and that's why it's 21-0. They came ready to play. Alabama did not come ready to play. Now, they look better in this drive, but they better do something with this position they have.
Coyle, left side, got a man wide open. And down the sidelines is the backup tight end, Travis McCall.
You know, last week in the win over Georgia, Auburn had a difficult time covering Leonard Pope. They turned him loose, the tight end for Georgia, many times. Well, this is the backup tight end, McCall. He's not been a big part of the offense. 0 catches coming into the game, but they found him that time, and nobody accounted for him on the Auburn defense. So a very strong offensive drive right now for Alabama off the turnover caused by their defense.
First and goal, Darby's back in. McClain, the fullback, sets up to the left side. Now he'll come in motion. Go back, Sweep. Caldwell in front. Darby to the 1.
Down to the Auburn 1-yard line.
The opening thrust of the second quarter for a Crimson Tide team that got the turnover near midfield.
This is one of the best running plays I think Alabama has, because Antoine Caldwell is a very athletic lineman, and every time he comes out in the last several weeks, he gets his block. I mean, he does a nice job of getting his block. Looked like Darby got that ball to the end zone, but it doesn't look like they're going to review it.
Second and goal, I formation. This is Tim Castile. No, play fake. And the pass is incomplete. Good job of coverage deep in the end zone.
And even better job by Marquise Gunn, number 48, for staying at home on the bootleg, because there was nobody else out there. And if Marquise Gunn bites on the fake, Brody Croyle will run this one in. Watch Marquise Gunn, number 48, stay at home on the defense. He's got responsibility, and he forces Croyle to throw that ball away. Will Herring in good position on defense, but it was really Marquise Gunn that forced the play.
Third and goal from the 1. Castile again is the running back in this power formation. He's got 6 touchdowns. Looking for the 7th. Drives in. Alabama is on the board.
What a great gut check drive for Alabama. It started with their defense, and that's been their strength all year. Their defense got the turnover, got them some field position. Ken Darby hit a couple nice runs, and Alabama stops the bleeding and gets on the scoreboard.
7th touchdown of the season for one of 2 sons of the All-American Jeremiah Castile, who was a part of that memorable 1981 ball game between these two when Bear Bryant won his 315th and Pat Dye, just honored, was in his first year as the head coach at Auburn. Tim Castile, his brother Sim, is a defensive back, and he goes 1 yard. Tough run. Gets a good block from Stabler and McLean, and the Crimson Tide on the board. The margin is 14. Well, I'm going to show my age now. Brian Dowling is smiling, and Calvin Hill is going, oh dear. Brian.
And those two are saying, who?
That's right.
Who are you talking about?
Brian Dowling was, of course, a great quarterback at Harvard. Calvin Hill, top draft pick for the Dallas Cowboys when he played at Yale. Much better known now, he and Janet, as the parents of one Grant Hill, who can play a little basketball. 21-7.
Good coverage by Alabama coming into the ball game. Number 1 team in the conference, and kickoff return Auburn.
Well, let's check in with Tracy Wolfson.
Thanks, Vern. Alabama wide receiver Tyrone Prothro may be out for the season, but he is still a big part of this team. Right before that last series, he went over to the offensive line. He's on crutches, and he said to them, look at me. Don't you think I want to be out there? Come on, play your game, play for me. Guys, a little inspiration never hurts.
No, it does not. Brody Croyle, of course, threw the pass that Tyrone Prothro caught in that game against Florida when he was injured. Here's the pass out of the backfield to Anthony Mix. Mark Anderson gets out there defensively.
And you can just feel a little shift right now. Alabama's defense that looked a little stunned there earlier in the first quarter. A little more bounce in their step. They came into this game a tremendously confident unit. They did not play that first quarter like a confident defensive unit. They look like they've got their confidence back a little bit. There's Joe Kynes, defensive coordinator, has just done a masterful job with this group over his 3 years here.
Second down, 11. There's the bunch formation to the right side. Roman Harper is up on the line now. See if he's coming. He is not. Draw play. Kenny Irons. Jawan Simpson, number 42, makes the initial contact. It will be 3rd and 5.
Well, Kenny Irons has not had a lot of opportunities in this game so far, but he's really been, and we talked about Brandon Cox, but Kenny Irons' emergence this year has been the big difference for Auburn, because they really weren't sure what they had at tailback, who would be their main guy in the first game. Kenny Irons only had 1 carry in the Georgia Tech game, only 34 yards after the first 2 games, and then he just exploded. Over the last 5 games has been outstanding.
Had 218 in the loss to LSU. 3rd and 5. Toss. Irons coming this direction.
Good defense.
And it'll be 4th down. Kenny Irons and his brother David, of course, lead us to the Aflac trivia question of the week. Name the brothers from each team to start in the same Iron Bowl. And that's the key. Brothers for each starting in the same Iron Bowl.
First time Alabama has stopped Auburn on a 3rd down, forcing Cody Bliss to get his uniform dirty.
Brandon Brooks is back to return the punt. And a little Emmy award-winning job by Cody Bliss there. Well, Emmy nominated.
That's right.
He didn't. Oh dear.
A 44-yard kick.
So from the 30, Alabama's got it. CBS Sports coverage of the Home Depot SEC on CBS continues after this word from your local station.
Here we go. Here we go. Everybody's gonna get down. Let's go. Here we go. Here we go. Everybody's gonna get down. Let's go.
Auburn Tigers lost their season opener to Georgia Tech. The only other loss, an overtime defeat to LSU. The Alabama Crimson Tide, 1 loss. LSU in overtime last week. Play fake Croyle has some pressure, fires it out to Coffey, who is, it's not Coffey, it's Nick Walker, number 88.
Well, the last time Alabama had the ball, a very nice answer after their defense got the turnover, and it really started with Ken Darby. He had 2 excellent runs in the drive. This was his 2nd one. And then a pass to seldom used Travis McCall, the backup tight end, and then Tim Castile in their power formation gets it in the end zone. So the defense started with the turnover. Darby gave him a little juice, and they finally got on the scoreboard.
2nd down and 6. Draw play, Darby comes right, Castile with a bit of a block, and Darby out of bounds short of the 1st down near the 37-yard line. David Irons, number 4, made the tackle. See the rushing yards now in college football, as you all know. Sacks go against the rushing yardage, so 5 sacks have reduced that number significantly. 3rd and 3. 21-7.
This is rare territory for Alabama, 3rd and short. They haven't had many of these so far.
That's Castile going to the left side. Coyle back, rush from the outside. He's got a scramble, and he's going to be caught short. Pressure coming from the outside, McClover among others. And there was Marquise Gunn again as well.
Well, this is a pressure front. It's kind of an 8-man front by Auburn. You see all these blue jerseys. They're going to come after the quarterback. Brody Croyle not able to throw it on his last step, and then he's knowing right now, I better take off. I don't know if he's feeling all that comfortable back there on the straight drop back still. Over the last couple weeks, he has been knocked around quite a bit.
Trey Smith, who as a freshman with injured backs came into this game and rushed for 126 yards. He was the starter at the beginning of this season, gave way to Kenny Irons, and he's the punt return specialist now. And he will let it go out of bounds inside the 25. Jeremy Schatz with the punt, 38 yards, and time call. 21-7, Tigers.
A 38-yard
network.
Gary Hogaboom, pride of Central Michigan.
Yes.
Chippewas won today in overtime, 31-24. Bump up to 6-5. They're bowl eligible.
You are Johnny on the spot today.
No. Just
Todd on the spot.
Prepared for the Hogaboom spot. That's all.
On 1st down, Cox. Roman Harper gets there. The pass is ruled incomplete. I guess his arm was going forward.
And if there's any indication, if there's a little more bounce in the Alabama defensive step, the first bootleg, D'Amico Ryans came and Brandon Cox was able to get rid of it a hair soon. This time Roman Harper's there. They're not able to pick him up with the block by Tim Duckworth, and he forces the bad throw. So Alabama defense has settled into the game a little bit more here. Now the pressure back on Brandon Cox and the Auburn offense to reestablish themselves.
That is the first incomplete pass for Cox. He's now 8 of 9. Second and 10, motion by Gilberry. Flag is down. They run the pattern deep. Courtney Taylor. Incomplete.
Very smart, though. Brandon Cox knew he had a free play because of the jump on the left side of the Alabama defensive front, and he took a shot down the field to Courtney Taylor. And with these receivers, you've got an experienced group of big physical receivers. A lot of times Brandon Cox just throws the ball up for him.
Defense, number 92. Penalties 5 yards from the previous spot. Still second down.
You're going to see the movement over here. And the center, Jonathan Palmer, is going to snap the ball when he feels the movement come across. Brandon Cox says, I got a free play. I'm going to go ahead and take a shot down the field and see what happens. And these receivers, again, big physical guys, they've gone up and made a lot of plays on a close ball like that all season.
Wallace Gilberry was the man who jumped. It'll be second down and 5. Fourth penalty on Alabama already. Sweep left side. Kenny Irons. Nice pursuit defensively. Mark Anderson and Freddie Roach. Here's Anderson, the senior out of Tulsa. Freddie Roach, another senior.
Kenny Irons as a runner is very different. I mean, he and Kenneth Darby, the only 2,000-yard rushers in the comp. They're very different in their styles. Darby is a make-you-miss kind of guy. Kenny Irons is a straight-ahead, north and south power runner, finishes his runs. He is a good cutback runner, but he's not a guy that's going to juke you or make you miss.
3rd and 4. Auburn leads by 14. With the ball just outside their own 30.
Play clock down to 5. Brandon Cox may need to take a timeout here, and he does.
Auburn called timeout.
First timeout called by the Tigers. And it comes with 8 minutes and 41 seconds to go. Opening half. All right, Tim, thank you. At the end of the last play, there was contact on the sidelines just out of bounds, and Al Borges, the offensive coordinator in his second very successful season at Auburn, was hit and went down, and they're still tending to him on the sidelines. In the meantime, play will resume. It's 3rd down and 4. Brandon Cox, and here's the blitz. He's got time, however, and it's incomplete. Intended for Anthony Mix, and the pass a little high. Let's see if we can see what happened to Al Borges.
Yeah, well, let's take a look now. Al Borges is also the play caller, and he looks to be up on his feet now. Here he is right here. And as you watch the end of this play, Jake Slaughter is going to block Jawan Simpson right into Al Borges. Al Borges not able to get out of the way and took a pretty good shot from Jawan Simpson, and hopefully he'll be okay.
He is up, limping a little bit. It's 4th down. Here's the punt from Cody Bliss, and this is not particularly effective, but it does take a huge Auburn bounce. And Brandon Brooks said, I'm going to get as far away from that as I can.
Al Borges is up, the headsets are on, and he's walking down the sideline. So that's a good sign, because that would have created some problems from a play calling standpoint. You've got Hugh Nall, the offensive line coach, who was the coordinator before Al Borges, but certainly in a game at this point, you don't want to mess with a good thing. And Al Borges has been an outstanding offensive coordinator the last 2 years here at Auburn.
Well, Al Borges and Tommy Tuberville, they had 3 men drafted #1 off that offensive team last year, quarterback, 2 running backs, and if anything, they are better this year than they were in the undefeated 13-0 season last year. First down, Coyle, play fake. He wants to go deep for Ezekiel Knight, and Knight got open and can't hang on to the ball. Montavis Pitts might have knocked this.
I think Montavis Pitts get a hand on it. I think the ball was a little underthrown by Brody Froh, because Ezekiel Knight had to stop and wait for the football. Instead of being able to run to the sideline, he stopped, and when he stopped, Montavis Pitts was able to get his hand in there and deflect the football. I like the idea, though. That's the first time that Alabama has taken a shot to throw it downfield on 1st down, and they got excellent pass protection to do it that time.
2nd down and 10. 21-7 with 8:14 to go 1st half. DJ Hall goes to the left. Here's Darby. across the 25 near the 26-yard line.
Number 34, Kenneth
Both of these
Doherty,
defenses are really strong against the run. I mean, that is that's where they've both been really strong. Auburn coming into the game 5th in the league, but 17th in the country against the run. Alabama 1st in the league.
3rd and 6.
LaRon McClain, who has had some problems with a shoulder stinger the last couple of weeks, just took himself out of the game on this 3rd down play. So they are without a fullback on this 3rd down play.
Matt Caddell is not lined up where he should be. So the play clock winding down. It's at 5, and they have to use a timeout. Matt Caddell broke the huddle, came to the wrong side of the field. Brody Croyle yelling at him, "Get over here." By the time he heard him and reacted, play clock had wound down. Time is called. Okay. Just a moment ago, on your left, Al Borges, on your right, the head coach, Tommy Tuberville. What happened? No, Al, tell me what happened.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
He's going to hold up. How many fingers am I holding up? Make sure they can read that play chart that he's got in his hand.
Oh, Al Borges, he is, among other things, a wonderful man with whom to chat. Very personable offensive coordinator. 3rd down, 6. Out of the timeout. Stunts. Oh, they got it the 6th time.
Unbelievable.
6 sacks first half.
They beat Brody Croyle to the setup spot on that time. Marquise Gunn was at the setup position faster than Brody Croyle was. Watch this. Marquise Gunn comes unblocked. Nobody even blocks him, and he is there waiting for Brody Croyle. What B.J. Stabler was doing, I'm not sure, because nobody blocked the inside rusher, Marquise Gunn.
6 sacks, Auburn, first half. Jeremy Schatz, this one, well done. Trey Smith, Ezekiel Knight makes the tackle at the 37-yard line. And let's get an update on Al Borges. Here's Tracy.
Well, guys, I was standing right here when Al Borges went down, and you heard his head hit the ground. He was okay. A concerned Tommy Tuberville, though, came over to see if he was all right. Trainers are saying he's fine, but he was out cold for a bit.
I'm glad to see him up. He'll have a headache, that's for sure.
One of those things where, you know, you learn on the sidelines. My dad was a coach for a lot of years. If that play comes to sideline, get out of there. I mean, get away from it. And Al Borges is thinking about the next play, and he kind of turned his attention away and got knocked down.
Fake the reverse, handed off to Kenny Irons, got some room. Out near the 50, Kenny Irons, whose brother David has several tackles defensively for Auburn. And it's time for the answer to the
Aflac
trivia question of the week. Before today, name the brothers to start for each team in the same Iron Bowl. The answer for Auburn, Bill and Bob Newton in '73, Haygood and James Patterson back in '03 and '05. And for Alabama, Adrian, Hargrove, and Bully at the beginning of the last century. Here's Irons.
Irons picks up 1 yard.
There are the Van de Graaff brothers. Adrian, Hargrove, and Bully.
49.
2nd down and 9.
Well, right now, checking in for Alabama is Justin Britt, number 50. His brother is the starting center right now, Taylor Britt. So brothers all over the place.
Well, brother Wesley started for him last year. 2nd down and 9. Here's Cox, near side. That's Cooper Wallace, the tight end. It'll be 3rd down. Wallace and D'Amico Ryans having a couple words. D'Amico Ryans,
number 8, Cooper Wallace.
All-American senior, who's a finalist for the Butkus Award. He's just the contrast to Brandon Cox. D'Amico Ryans grew up in an Auburn family. He said he's got an uncle who wears an Auburn hat, but he sits on an Alabama cushion. He was not recruited by Auburn. Tommy Tuberville confirmed that. So he wound up signing with Alabama.
Tommy also said he obviously made a mistake on that one.
Right. 3rd down. 3 men down. Now Harper's up on the line. See if they're coming. They are coming. Here's Juwan Simpson. Cox with time. Delivers it wide open. Catch is made inside the 30 by Anthony Mix. First down.
Well, nice job by the offensive line picking up the extra rushers and giving Cox time to wait for the thing to open. And then it's a big cushion by Simeon Castile. He just got juked out of position by Anthony Mix. That's a heck of a move by a big receiver, 6'5", 248-pound receiver with some nifty moves to separate from Simeon Castile, who I think is an excellent cover guy.
Gain of 19. Mix with 2 receptions for 18 yards. Obomanu in motion wide to the right. Here's Cox back to throw. Screen pass. Almost picked off by Anthony Madison.
You know, the one thing about Brandon Cox is we see a penalty flag come down late. I'm not sure what we have here, but Brandon Cox knows that he's not a scrambler and that he's not a runner. And so he knows he's got to stay in the pocket and be willing to take some hits and make throws. And he does a good job of that.
Offense, number 69. Pass crossed the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
The reason that penalty is called, in college football, if you throw a screen pass, you can release linemen downfield across the line of scrimmage to block as long as the ball is caught behind the line of scrimmage. But because that ball was not caught, it crossed the line of scrimmage and therefore drew the penalty.
And it results in a first down and 15. That is the first Auburn penalty of the ball game. First and 15 at the 32. Double tight end set. 2 wideouts, 1 running back. And again, the blitz coming from Juwan Simpson. Here's Cox. Anderson got there. And then Simpson came to help. Mark Anderson, who is the rush specialist for this Alabama Crimson Tide defensive line.
First time they've been able to get to Brandon Cox. It's a short drop, only a 3-step drop, and he's not able to get rid of the ball quickly. And because he hadn't dropped very deep, Alabama was able to collapse the pocket and get their first sack of the ball game.
First sack results in a 4-yard loss and a second down and 19.
Obviously a critical possession for the Alabama defense. Another touchdown here before halftime would probably be too much for this offense to overcome. 21-7, still have a chance.
4-man rush. Here's Cox. Diving catch. Courtney Taylor at the 26-yard line. That'll leave third down and 9.
Nice throw against tight coverage, slant route. Again, you've got experienced receivers, and a lot of people are surprised that Auburn has been so good on defense this year, or on offense. But what they had coming back, in addition to being in the second year on Al Borges' system, an experienced offensive line and a very experienced and talented group of wide receivers to build around. And those guys have played well.
3rd and 9. I formation, blitz coming. Harper. Here's Cox inside. Aromashodu. First and goal at the 5.
They got to Brandon Cox on a 3-step drop, not able to get to him on a 5-step drop. Good protection, man-to-man coverage on Madison, and a perfect throw to Aromashodu. That ball was perfectly thrown with timing to the inside, and a first down for Auburn.
The highly accurate throw of Cox. Tommy Tuberville said he's the most accurate quarterback he's been around.
And he hangs in that pocket. I mean, he hangs in there. He's tough. He's not afraid to get hit.
He is 12 of 14 for 115 yards. Irons. Left side, it was a fake. It's a touchdown. Cole Bennett, the backup tight end. Beautiful job of play faking. That's another talent that Cox has.
Well, Roman Harper, the safety, was coming on a blitz and never even suspected the bootleg coming out the other side. He was totally fooled. And then Mark Anderson, the end, was dropping off into coverage, and he could not stay up with the tight end.
With 2:07 to go in the first half, John Vaughn has a chance to make it a 28-7 game. And does.
One kick is good, and it's Auburn 28, Alabama
Brandon Cox finds Cole Bennett for the touchdown.
The misdirection plays have been huge for Auburn. Watch these two guys here now. As this play develops, Roman Harper's going to rush. He's not going to read the bootleg at all. Mark Anderson gets fooled by the bootleg. He's not able to cover the tight end. Misdirection by the Auburn offense and beautiful execution by Brandon Cox have just given Auburn a 21-point lead.
Glenn Coffey.
2:07 to go first half. Auburn's Cole Bennett, his second touchdown catch of the season. Marvelous play fake, Brandon Cox. And this Auburn team overcame a 2nd down and 19. Got 2 big plays. The setup play was the catch by Aromashadu from Cox prior to the touchdown. Matt Clark with a kick. Brandon Brooks 5 yards back. It'll come out to the 20.
In the end zone by Brandon Brooks.
70th meeting between these two. It means everything in this state. And Auburn has had the upper hand. This is the most points given up by the Alabama team all year.
Well, think of it this way, too. I mean, in SEC games this year, they've only given up 59 points, and that's 28 now. So in the first half, we talked about strength versus strength. This Auburn offense, capitalizing on good field position early, has been very, very good.
Brody Croyle.
Movement. Here we go back 5 yards again.
Yep.
Chris Capps.
Well, the offensive line has been particularly susceptible in recent games. Mississippi State and last week LSU. That trend has continued today.
I think this has been the worst. I mean, and we're at both of those games. And this game, I mean, they have gotten back there faster than they have in the last 2 weeks. Brody Croyle, for the most part today, has not even been able to set up on his last step of his drop and even think about throwing because of the pressure, and it hasn't been a lot of blitz. It's just been 4 guys whipping 5.
And to compound the difficulty, 5 penalties now. Here's Croyle out of the backfield. The catch made near the 20-yard line.
Complete to number 82, Marcus McKnight.
That's Marcus McKnight, as Mike Shula is going very deep into his roster to try and find something that will work. Marcus McKnight with the catch.
2nd and 10 at the 20.
Got 5 back. It's 2nd down and 10. 7 sacks. This is unbelievable.
I mean, Brody Croyle is not able to read the coverage because he's too busy worrying about where the pressure's coming from. In that case, Kyle Tatum just turned loose Stanley McClover. And you've got to get in there and fight and give the guy as much time as you can. And then in some cases, if he has time, he's got to throw the ball away if he doesn't have anybody open. But David Gibbs, the defensive coordinator, his first year here at Auburn, has got things going his way.
Time has been called by Auburn. This week, Threshold invades Tuesday night with a new episode that will have you on the edge of your seat. Don't miss the critically acclaimed Threshold on a special night and time. Tuesday at 10, 9 Central on CBS, America's most watched network. If you see Brody Croyle in the state of being shell-shocked, it's understandable. Draw play. And here's Glenn Coffey, the freshman running back, who's out near the 25-yard line. That'll send up 4th down.
And Auburn's
59 seconds to go.
You're going to use another timeout and try to tack something else on here right at the end of the half. Maybe go after the punt. That's their last timeout.
And the time is called with 59 seconds to go as Glenn Coffey leaves Alabama facing 4th and 5. Jeremy Schatz with his 7th punt of the first half. That ties the high number of punts for him in a single game this year. And they come in the first 30 minutes. Here's Trey Smith at the 41. Nice downfield tackle inside the 41.
Smith on a return from the Auburn 41. There is a flag.
Coming up, the Geico halftime report. We'll go back to New York with Tim Spencer and Archie Manning. Back in the studio with all the scores and highlights from today's critical rivalry week.
I bet Archie remembers being in some games where the pass protection was not stellar like today.
Back, number 19 on the receiving team. The penalty's 10 yards from the end of the run. This is a first down.
Auburn didn't go after that punt. They went after to try to set up the return. They doubled both of the outside gunners, but D'Amico Ryans, one of the best linebackers in the country, was the guy down there to make the tackle on the punt team. So it just shows you how versatile he is as a player.
Auburn leading 28-7 with 48 seconds to go. This game was played between 1948 and 1988 in Birmingham, allegedly a neutral site. David Housel, the retired athletic director, said yesterday Birmingham was about as neutral as the beaches in Normandy on D-Day. There is David Housel, one of the fine gentlemen in all of college athletics, a dear and trusted friend for years. And earlier this season, the press box here at Jordan-Hare was named the David E. Housel press box. He said this game has been a consuming concern for him for 48 years, and it's nice this week to not really have to worry about the results. He said he's learned in retirement that the ultimate result of Western civilization does not depend on who wins Alabama-Auburn. His wife Susan to his right, and they stand in his applaud, as do most of the orange and blue clad Auburn Tiger fans, because this has been overwhelming. 28-7. Now ready for our conversation with Mike Shula. It's presented by Charles Schwab. Here's Tracy.
Thanks a lot, guys. Coach, a new situation for this team, down 21 points. How do you get back in the game?
Well, you know, first of all, we got to do a better job up front. It's pretty obvious to everybody that their defensive line is doing a real good job against our offensive line. And but you know, we're gonna have some opportunities. We got to take advantage of them, just make some plays, keep our poise. We got to regroup at halftime. Their offense has done a nice job with good field position, but you know, we just got to try to get one score, get back into the game, and then see what happens after that.
Thanks a lot. Good luck.
Thank you, Tracy. 28-7 at halftime. Jordan-Hare in Auburn. Let's go back to New York. Here's Tim Brando. Sunset in the loveliest village in the plain. It's been a very placid place for Auburn fans. They have not had much to worry about. 28-7 as we get set for the start of the third quarter. Vern Lundquist, Todd Blackledge, Tracy Wolfson, the 70th renewal of the Iron Bowl. Auburn won the toss at the beginning, elected to defer, so Jamie Christensen kicks off and plants this one all the way through the end zone. It'll be a touchback, and the Auburn Tigers take over, first down at the 20. I know, Todd, you thought at the beginning that the right hook may be even, it may be the left hand.
Yeah.
So far, Auburn's right hook's been pretty devastating.
Yeah, and they almost knocked them out with both of them. I mean, Auburn's offense was ready to play more than the Alabama defense, and then Auburn's defense just totally overwhelmed Alabama's offense. In the first quarter, they kind of played to a draw in the second quarter, but the first quarter, Auburn totally overwhelmed them on both sides of the ball, and right now Alabama has a big hole to come out of.
Brandon Cox, almost perfect first half, 13 of 15. Backs in the eye, and the sophomore quarterback drifts out. He goes deep, takes a shot for Obomanu, man coverage, and good man coverage provided by Anthony Madison.
Incomplete. Depending on the play,
Anthony Madison in good position. Finds the football. You see how quickly he got his head around and just not able to secure the catch. Charlie Pepper there to help out, but they got one turnover in the first half, and that led to Alabama's only score. Almost came up with another one right there.
13 of 16 now for a modest 120, but the accuracy is what stands out there.
And his poise and demeanor is just uncanny, I think, for a guy who hasn't played very much.
Kenny Irons trapped in the back. Let's take a look at the statistical breakdown of the first half presented by Jeep.
And that right there's the number. 7 sacks on only 17 passing plays in the first half. I mean, that's just too difficult to overcome. And of those 7 sacks for Auburn in the first half, 6 of them were by different guys. I mean, they were just different guys winning one-on-one battles. In some cases, a blitz with an unblocked guy, but for the most part, just beating one-on-one battles.
3rd and 12, blitz coming by Alabama. Cox under some pressure, rolls out to his left. He's not nifty, and he is pounded as he gets up near the 23-yard line. So that will bring up a 4th down, and it's 3 and out for Auburn on the opening thrust of the 3rd quarter. Brandon Cox, 4th and 7. Young man, as we told you, who's been battling a disease called myasthenia gravis. It cost him a year in school and a redshirt season. Controlled by medicine now. Very quiet young guy. Tommy Tuberville, we asked him, what's Brandon Cox like? He said, I don't know. I never talked to him. He won't answer me. Said he's even more quiet than Jason Campbell was a year ago. Here is Brandon Brooks. Looks for a wall. Gets it. To the 34-yard line.
2 years ago in the 2003 game, Brandon Brooks took the opening second half kickoff back 96 yards for a touchdown. This time he gets a wall on the left side, does a nice job of setting up his blocks, and gets Alabama with some good field position to start their first possession of the 3rd quarter in this 2005 version of the Iron Bowl.
Brandon Brooks, a 5'5" senior from Birmingham. That was a 33-yard return. His previous longest for the season was 9 yards. Against Mississippi State and against LSU, Alabama really struggled in the second half. This one, pre-snap penalty.
Yeah, and this is maybe the 3rd time this has happened. On first down, they've had a penalty that's make it 1st and 15. I think what happened, LeRon McClain, was an illegal shift.
False start, number 59, offense. Penalties 5 yards from the previous spot, still first down.
Antoine Caldwell, the left guard. I thought the fullback started forward a little bit too soon after his motion, but again, costly penalties. Here's Caldwell right here, number 59. You got good field position. It's first down, and now, wow, that was close. Now it's 1st and 15, nonetheless.
Four-man rush by Auburn. Darby, nice, elusive. There's another move. 2 fine moves to avoid tackles.
And right there, that's the run where you kind of see the difference between these 2 excellent backs, Kenny Irons of Auburn and Ken Darby of Alabama. He has the ability to plant his foot and make people miss, change directions without losing speed. Kenny Irons is more of a straight-ahead runner, breaks a lot of tackles. Ken Darby makes a lot of people miss tackles. That was an excellent run.
Darby hampered in this game a year ago because of what ultimately was diagnosed as a sports hernia. Had a very tough evening trying to make amends. He got 9 on that last play. Here's Darby again, up the middle, busts through. He's got a first down inside the 20. So back-to-back outstanding runs for Kenneth Darby.
And Mike Shula, like she told Tracy on the way to the locker room, we've got to try to get one more score and get back in this thing and see what we can do. Good surge up front. You're having trouble pass blocking. We'll do what these guys do best. Run the football right at this Auburn defense and give it to a guy who can do it. Ken Darby. Good double team by the tight end and the tackle on McClover, and Ken Darby into the backfield.
That is only the 4th first down for Alabama in the ball game. They trail by 21. 1st and 10. They'll try Darby again, and he breaks into the secondary again. Nice tackle by David Irons, number 4.
Brought down by number 4, David Irons.
Alabama inside the red zone. Mark Gillen, John Parker Wilson, the 2 backup quarterbacks alongside Mike Shula. For the season, 37 trips inside the 20-yard line, 16 touchdowns and 12 field goals. That just underscores the kind of problems this Alabama Crimson Tide team has had offensively. 2nd and 8. Darby again. T.J. Jackson got there.
He fumbled the football. The beanbag came down. Again, it looked like a mix-up between Croyle and Darby on where the play was supposed to go. Auburn coming out of the pile, Karibi Dede, who had 2 big fumble recoveries a week ago against Georgia. And I think they're signaling that he was down and it's Alabama's ball, but a wasted play on 2nd down. And it looked like a mix-up again between Croyle and Darby on where the ball was supposed to go. Darby not able to secure it. Fortunately for him, falls on the football. But it's 3rd and long now in the red zone.
They bunch up now, break the bunch, and one comes to the right side. That's Goodell. Pressure from McClover. 8 sacks.
I mean, that's not even fair. I mean, Stanley McClover, who has been hurt with a high ankle sprain for most of the season, and up until the last 2 weeks has just gotten healthy, shows he's just too fast for the tackles of Alabama. Kyle Tatum, number 58, is going to try to block him. He doesn't even get a hand on him before McClover's in the backfield. Very difficult for these tackles to block the speed rushers of this Auburn defense.
That brings on Jamie Christensen, who was the hero of back-to-back wins, Ole Miss and Tennessee. This would equal his season long. Matt Miller will hold. Christensen from 43 just does cut it inside the right upright.
Well, they got points. They wanted a touchdown, and after the Brooks punt return, it looked like they were going to have a great chance to get a touchdown, but you take 3. 3 is better than nothing in this situation for Alabama.
It's 28-10, 3rd quarter. They did not play here in Auburn until 1989. Alabama opens their first offensive set in the 3rd quarter with a field goal. And the margin is 28-10 with 10-12 to go, 3rd quarter. Auburn about to get it back. Nice high kick, not terribly deep. Aromashadu bobbles it at the 1, and he is in jail. A scramble for the ball, and he is pounced upon at the 1-yard line.
You know, coming into the game, he was averaging nearly 27 yards per kickoff return, one of the best in the conference, but he just kind of lost his concentration on the catch. Didn't catch it securely, and then when he picked it up, Alabama was down there with their coverage. And very fortunate that something worse didn't happen. But poor field position, the worst of the ball game for the Auburn offense right now.
Slaughter at fullback, Kenny Irons at tailback, Brandon Cox is the quarterback from the 3-yard line. Handed off to Irons. He heads right.
Not out of the end zone.
He's in. Oh, they're going to give him forward progress at the 1. They're going to mark the ball down at the 1.
Wow. That was close.
D'Amico Ryans thought they had a safety. Chris Harris, and so did the Auburn or the Alabama fans.
Kenny Irons tried to bounce this out a little bit, and when he did that, boy, I don't think he got out of the end zone. I mean, I don't know where his forward progress was. He took himself back into the end zone. I mean, that was not being pushed back in the end zone. He ran himself into the end zone.
From the 1. That was one of the Britt brothers, Justin Britt. Let's see if he was drawn offside.
Drawn offside by Brandon Cox's voice, but that's not going to help his cause.
Dead ball, all sides. Number 50. We had contact in the neutral zone. The penalty's 5 yards from the previous spot. Still 2nd down.
Another costly mental mistake
by Justin Britt. He's got to watch the football. He can't listen to the quarterback's voice. He's right there with his nose over the ball. Here he is right here. I mean, he's just got to look right in there and hold his water. Instead, gives Auburn a little breathing room with their offense out beyond the 5-yard line.
7 penalties, 41 yards, and it's 2nd and 7 at the 6. Irons, he struggled today and is caught and dropped at the 7. Let's go back to New York and spend a moment with Tim Brandon.
Vern and Todd, you have to know about the battle for the coveted Beehive boot. Utah had led 24-3 and at one point in the game, but here's Curtis Brown, one of the top backs in the Mountain West. 64 yards, has over 1,000 on the season. It's 24-17 running Utes in the battle for the coveted Beehive boot.
Tim, Lee Groscup and I spent a lot of time in Utah back in the 70s and 80s, and I've done the battle for the Beehive boot. Here's Cox, and it's overthrown for Obomanu. It'll be 4th down.
Well, Alabama overcame the penalty. They overcame what I thought was a little questionable call, not giving him the safety, and they still force a punt out of the end zone for Auburn. So back-to-back 2 excellent defensive stands by the Alabama defense.
And Alabama's going to employ this or deploy 2 men back. They've done this for a couple of games. We saw it with disastrous results one time.
Well, they did it the last punt return, and Brandon Brooks did a nice job of returning it across the field down the left sideline.
4th and 7. Cody Bliss, 4th punt of the game. Takes a little bit of a run. Line drives this one, and Castile says, get away from it. And it stays in bounds.
Like a magnet over there on the sideline, drawing it back into the field of play.
How do you do? Even Mike Shula has to smile at that. Cody Bliss. Oh my. Nothing to it but to do it.
Plus, their guard play is so.
These teams have 1 defeat in SEC play this year. Both of those defeats came to LSU, both in overtime. So LSU can win the West by winning tonight against Ole Miss and Friday against Arkansas, but still a lot to play for here, Todd.
Yeah, and for Alabama right now offensively, they've got to try to avoid 3rd down passing situations as much as they can. If they want to throw on 1st down, and when they do throw, they better look to do some max protection type things with 2-man routes, because right now, when they just block with 5, they are not able to block these fast pass rushers from Auburn.
1st down and 10. Castile's the fullback. Play fake. Brody Croyle looks deep. He's under trouble and fires it as he is hit and dropped by Marquise Gunn. Again, the pressure was there.
Well, Marquise Gunn has done a nice job of staying at home on his responsibility. Here he is, the defensive end, and he's got the backside. So when Brody Croyle comes out on the bootleg, he can't get sucked in too far. He's got to keep leverage outside, and he forces Brody Croyle to throw the ball away.
I just find this stat staggering. That's the 19th time that Brody Croyle has gone back to throw. 8 times, 8 of the 19, he has been sacked. He's completed 5 today, and a flag.
Another movement penalty. Freshman tight end Nick Walker left early.
Dead ball, false start, number 88 on the offense. Penalties 5 yards from the previous spot, still 2nd down.
So when you're struggling as an offense like Alabama has been struggling over the last 3, 4, 5 weeks, you can't add to that struggle. I mean, you can't take these negative plays that are just a result of a lack of concentration because you aren't able to overcome them. I mean, you're having a difficult enough time making positive yardage, a difficult enough time protecting your quarterback. To go backwards on just simple mental mistakes you just can't get away with it.
That is the 4th false start of the game for the Crimson Tide. Darby goes left. Gets the 5 back. He's down at the 40, but here we are again, Todd, 3rd and 10.
And again, look at the penalty. It was 2nd and 15. That was a good run for Darby, 5 or 6 yards. But instead of being 3rd and 4 or 5, it's 3rd and 10. And this is where they just have not been able to block. I wouldn't be surprised to see Alabama maybe even try to slip a draw in here.
So far today, 0 for 4 on third downs when it's 7 yards or more needed. 0 for 6.
Ezekiel Knight wide to the left. 2 receivers wide right. 4-man rush again. No blitz. Pressure. They got him for the 9th time. Stanley McClover.
Well, that was a new tackle. They put in Cody Davis this possession, number 75, to see if he could do a little better job over there instead of Chris Capps. And he didn't have any more luck against McClover than Capps did. Here's McClover using his speed, just going right around. I mean, it's just speed beating him to the edge, and Brodie Croyle with no chance.
Bears a slight resemblance to a bull ring in Madrid. A lot of Ole blocks. Here's the punt by Schatz. 9 sacks given up by Alabama. That is a season high.
Again, if you can't block them, then you've got to do something different. You either have to keep backs or tight ends in to help on those ends, or you need to just max protect and keep everybody in and only run 1 or 2 receivers down the field. But you can't spread out and try to throw against guys that you can't block.
Well, Stanley McClover is trying to claim credit for 1 more than he's accomplished. He's got 3. Back in New York. Darkness beginning to settle in here on the loveliest village on the plain, and this one has been a joy for the Auburn Tigers. They jumped out to a 21-0 first quarter lead. 2 teams have played relatively on an even scale since then. We're midway through the 3rd. Kenny Irons and Jake Slaughter in the backfield. Here's Irons coming left side.
23, Kenny Irons at left end.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about how you declare your loyalty when you're born in this state, and Brandon Cox grew up as an Alabama fan. Wasn't recruited by them. His mom, Debbie, was an Alabama fan then also. And his girlfriend, Emily Massey, started at the University of Alabama, and then she transferred. She's now a Tiger.
Yeah, her family was big Alabama fans too. Right?
Yeah. So
blood's thicker than water now. I mean, you know, when your son or your boyfriend is the starting quarterback for the guys in blue, you change.
Draw play. Oh, what a pop at the line of scrimmage. Mark Anderson was there, and Freddie Roach, number 8. 3rd and 3 with 5:35 to go. Courtney Taylor, Anthony Mix come on. Slaughter comes out.
3rd and 3.
Kenny Irons held to 36 yards on 15 carries so far.
Well, you mentioned, I mean, these teams have played pretty evenly since that first quarter. Auburn overwhelmed them. They came out ready to play, and Alabama has settled into the game a little bit better, particularly defensively, but still behind significantly.
On 3rd down. Here comes the rush. Cox gets rid of it. Tipped, incomplete. Intended for Mix. And D'Amico Ryans had a fine rush on Brandon Cox.
Yeah, he came unblocked on the blitz, forced Brandon Cox to get rid of the football, and the ball was thrown a little bit high because of that. It almost got tipped for an interception, but Pepper not able to make the play. But a good rush by D'Amico Ryans, forcing the high throw.
That is the 3rd straight 3 and out forced by the Crimson Tide defense. Brandon Brooks, this time a solo return man. Cody Bliss lets this one go, and Brooks will let it go over his head. Touchback.
Ball goes into the end zone, a 55-yard kick for Cody Bliss.
4:51 to go in the 3rd. The Auburn Tigers trying to make it 4 in a row. Lead 28-10.
Celebrating this long-standing tradition.
Jordan-Hare Stadium, Auburn, Alabama. The Tigers lead at 28-10 with 4:50 to go in the 3rd. Now the Scholar Athlete Award presented by Red Lobster. 3 men, Devin Aromashadu, TJ Jackson, and Lee Guess, all graduated at Auburn University in 3 years in finance, public business administration, and business marketing. Our congratulations to these fine student athletes. TJ Jackson, 5 tackles, 1.5 sacks. 1st down and 10. Croyle hands it off. They try the sweep to Darby. He turns the corner, but there is David Irons with a terrific defensive play. Let's go back to New York once again. Here's Tim Brenda.
Fellas, only on Rivalry Week would we update a 2-8 versus 3-7 matchup, but it's the battle for the Apple Cup. James Sims with a 3-yard touchdown run. They got the 2-point conversion, 22-19 Washington. You know, Todd, I'm guessing your partner may have called the battle for the Apple Cup. What do you think?
I think you're probably right.
Timmy, I'm going to step right in there. Absolutely. I did that with Craig Silver, our producer, as a matter of fact. It was only 18 years ago. Here's the handoff, right side, Darby. It'll be 3rd down, and here we go again. 3rd and 8, maybe 9. And already, Auburn has sacked Brodie Croyle 9 times.
You know, the other thing that you might want to try, and I mean, 3rd down and this much yardage, 8 may be tough, but a draw play where you invite those guys to rush upfield, McClover and Marquise Gunn and Quentin Groves. Let them come upfield the way they've been doing and slip a draw underneath them and see if you can pop for a 1st down that way.
Auburn's going for double-digit numbers in sacks, and they will keep it on the ground. And Darby runs into his own man, the backup tight end, Travis McCall. It'll be 4th down.
Well, take a look now as they try to, this is a normal running play, not a draw play. Quentin Groves just blew the play up, number 54. He was rushing upfield, and that forced the run to come back inside where a lot of blue jerseys were waiting for him.
Number of sacks in the game, 9. Number of punts for Jeremy Schatz, 9. And Trey Smith is perched back at the 41-yard line. Return on all the way. This one's a dandy. Schatz high. Smith nailed his
ball's loose.
Ball's loose. And Auburn recovers.
Yeah, weren't able to recover it. Terrence Jones had a shot at it. I mean, he had the first shot to recover the football and wasn't able to do it.
Well, now there's a scramble down and no indication from the officials yet. I thought Auburn had retained possession. They do. Trey Smith, as we said an hour or so ago, trouble with fumbles this year. This is his 4th fumble of a punt.
Well, he fumbled that before he was hit. I mean, that ball was fumbled before the hit was made. The hit was made by Rashad Johnson for Alabama, and Terrence Jones was there with the first shot to recover it, but couldn't do it.
Tony Bell made the recovery, 1st and 10, Auburn at the 28.
Tony Bell recovers for the Tigers. It's 1st down and 10 at their own 28. They lead it by 18. Cox with a play fake. Fires it, tip, nice defensive play by Ramsey Robinson, number 1. A look at the emergence of Tampa Bay quarterback Chris Sims, plus Shannon Sharpe profiles the Colts' dominating defense. It's all coming up on the NFL Today, always first on the field.
I think that was the first time today that the Alabama defense was able to stop that bootleg play, whether it was down around the goal line or out in the middle of the field. Nice play by Ramsey Robinson, knocking that pass away.
I got much more emotional about that promo than I thought I would. Just got all choked up. Here's the handoff to Irons. Cuts back. Fights for yardage out across the 35.
That's a vintage Kenny Irons run right there. I mean, he has not had a lot of breathing room or running room today, but he saw a little crease that time. He got up in there north and south, and he's always falling forward. He's a great finisher of the run. Watch Kenny Irons. Once he gets the yardage that's there before contact, he's always moving forward, and he finishes the run with about 4 more yards because he's moving forward.
You always want to check when those guys are lined up like that they are in the proper order. Sometimes, you know, you just get one guy out of position and it looks a little weird. Here's the stretch. 1st down. There we go. I think everything's fine. Well, wait a minute. Where's the end? Where's Iyer?
Those guys should be behind.
Where's the end?
Iros.
See?
Good call, partner.
Oh, dear. Nature calls at the darndest times. First down and 10. That is the first down of the half. Hand off to Kenny Irons, and he fights for yardage out near the 47-yard line.
Picks up 5 yards.
Wallace Gilberry, number 92, makes the tackle.
Stop made for number 92, Wallace Gilberry.
90 seconds remaining in the third quarter. 28-10. Second down and 5. See, Darby has picked up 83, Irons 51 thus far in the game. Draw play. Irons breaks the tackle. First down, Auburn inside Alabama territory. They've got it with a fresh set of downs at the 44-yard line.
Well, this has been all Kenny Irons this particular series. Running hard, north and south, lowering those pads and finishing with extra yardage at the end. And he looks fresh here as we near the end of the third quarter. Only that was his 18th carry. He's been averaging over 30 carries a game over the last 4 weeks.
First down and 10, just inside the 45. Irons remains in the backfield. He's the only setback. 3-man rush for Alabama. Cox will take a shot, goes deep for Courtney Taylor. That one's out of bounds. And with 30 seconds to go in the third, we have a moment to spend with Tim back in New York.
Very important for your partner, Todd Blackledge, Vern. Penn State had led 17-0, but remember Jason Teague had that big run in overtime to beat Notre Dame. He set sail 25 yards. It's now 17-7. Penn State needs it to get into the BCS and win the Big Ten title.
We had a big smile from Todd, and it's become a grimace now. Ohio State, Penn State, 7-1, 6-1. Ohio State winning today over Michigan. Second down and 10. Irons tries to take it to the outside and does. This has been the most impressive drive for Auburn in this third quarter. That's a pickup of 11 for Kenny Irons. He told us yesterday he gets more effective the later it gets in the game.
And watch these two guys, the tackle Reddick, the fullback, both leading on this play. Troy Reddick, number 66, is going to pull out and get a nice block. Slaughter's going to lead the way. And now you see clear sailing out here for Irons. Ben Obamanu with a nice block downfield. Excellent job of running the football in this drive by Kenny Irons.
This the 70th meeting in the Iron Bowl between Alabama and Auburn. That's the end of the third with our score 28-10. We'll return to Auburn right after this word from your local station.
Auburn going after it. Here's a good snap. It is blocked. It is blocked. It's caught on a run. It's caught on a run. He's going to score. David Langner. David Langner has scored. And Auburn has tied the game. Roger Mitchell.
Well, because of those two plays, Bill Newton and David Langner have etched their names forever into the lore of this football game, and that game led to a chant by the Auburn fans of punt, Bama, punt. We start the fourth quarter. Vern Lundquist, Todd Blackledge, Tracy Wolfson, 28-10. And Brandon Cox has his backs in the eye. He'll give it off to Kenny Irons. Test the middle out to the 30-yard line. And I go back, Todd, to that overwhelming domination by Auburn in the first quarter. Alabama just unable to come back from that.
Unable to come back for that, and you really have to credit also the Auburn defense in this game. Other than one series after a turnover where they allowed Alabama to score points, they have really been suffocating. Only 52 yards of total offense for Alabama in the game. 9 sacks they have gotten against the Alabama offense. So Auburn's defense has played extremely well all game, and the offense with a good drive going right here.
Second down and 8. High formation. Here's Irons. They'll keep it on the ground, and Kenny Irons is to the 26-yard line. And let's go back once again and spend time with Tim.
All right, Vern, on this rivalry week, it's Brady Quinn. The Notre Dame quarterback's had a wonderful year. Took 2 touchdown passes today, including this 30-yarder to Jeff Samardzija. 34-10, they win it. They're now a victory away at Stanford from punching a ticket to the Fiesta Bowl. Vern?
Indeed, 34-10 there. And 28-10 score here.
Coming into the bunch formation again.
Third down, Cox, hot receiver as he was under pressure from Jawan Simpson. It'll be 4th down.
Good defense by everybody involved. Jawan Simpson with the pressure. Charlie Pepra with the coverage on Mix. A decision now for Tommy Tuberville on 4th and 7. John Vaughn, who had the game-winning kick a week ago in Athens.
Now John Vaughn, who had that horrendously difficult night to forget in the overtime loss when he missed 5 field goals at LSU, came back the next week and hit 5 against Ole Miss, and then won the game winner last week. Now, length is not his strong point. This is from 46 out. He's got plenty on this one, but it is not good.
Score remains Auburn 28, Alabama 10 with 12 minutes.
Distance was fine, direction was not. It remains 28-10. And Mike Shula's Alabama Crimson Tide takes over this one. Hooked it left. Time call.
And now it's time for our Geico scoring recap.
And it was an all-Tiger first quarter. Obomanu caught one from 7 yards out to make it 7-0, 3 and out for Alabama. Kenny Irons with an 8-yard touchdown run, 14-0, 3 and out Alabama. A reverse, Ben Obomanu from 45 yards away, 21-0 Auburn. Then Alabama got on the board. They did so on Tim Castile's plunge over the left tackle spot, made it 21-7. But just before halftime, Cole Bennett caught this pass from Brandon Cox, 28-7 at the break. The only scoring in the third quarter was a field goal from Jamie Christensen from 43 yards away. We are at 28-10, and the Crimson Tide have a first down and 10.
Only 4 first downs in the ball game for Alabama's offense so far. 1 for 11 on third down. Been sacked 9 times. We talked about the left hand. Who would have the stronger left hand, Alabama's offense or Auburn's defense? Clearly, it's been Auburn's defense today.
Croyle, swing pass, dropped.
Number 34, Kenneth Darby, incomplete.
That's 3 drops.
Trying to get the ball out to Ken Darby out in space. Oh, a little bit in front of him, but a catchable pass, but not able to come up with it. Jay Wilhite was kind of waiting right out there for Auburn had he caught the football.
Brody Croyle, Rainbow City, committed to this team, has been injured for much of his career, healthy in this his senior season, but this is not what he envisioned as a final game. Fires it short for Darby. He is elusive. He gets a block. Then he's popped as he gets near the 40-yard line.
What a tremendous effort.
Yep.
Wow. I mean, that didn't look like it was going to amount to anything except a little dump off for Brody Croyle. But watch the determination of Ken Darby after the catch. Makes 2 guys miss right there out in space. And then runs through 2 tackles and gets that ball forward for the first down. Tremendous individual effort by Ken Darby. He talked a lot this week in the media. The Auburn guys we talked about wanted to kind of shut him up, but he's come to play. I mean, and Mike Shula said he had a look in his eye all week.
That was a gain of 11. Here's Croyle back. Little shovel pass. And that one is caught by Glenn Coffey.
At least it's positive yardage on first down.
Yeah.
I mean, they have had so few first down plays that have been 4 yards or more.
4-yard gain. Second and 6 for Alabama. 24.
Second down and 6. Passing yards you see at 118 to 44. And that sack total is overwhelmingly in favor of Auburn. Here's Croyle back. Takes a shot into triple coverage for his tight end, Nick Walker. But there were 3 men back.
Yeah, it was covered 2. I mean, which the weak spot in that defense is down the middle or on the sideline between the corner and safeties. And there was a hole there for a minute. Travis Williams, the linebacker, in coverage, but not able to make the connection.
Well, this has been a tough scenario for Alabama and a wonderful opportunity for Auburn. 3rd and long. Coffey is the running back. Croyle back. Croyle runs. Oh, boy.
Well, they did a nice job. They kept the back in to help on Stanley McClover that time. LaRon McClain stayed in to help the left tackle, Chris Capps, on McClover's rush, and that enabled Brody Croyle to have a little more time. Watch over here. It's going to be 2-on-1 against Stanley McClover. Chris Capps, the tackle, has got the back in there to help, and that's going to open up a little bit of a lane right in there for Brody Croyle to scramble on this 3rd down play. Smart decision by Dave Rader and Mike Shula to give help to the tackle.
Gain of 7. It's a 1st down and 10. Motion again. That's the 5th false start penalty against Alabama today. 5 pre-snap penalties.
And I can't emphasize enough.
Dead ball. False start. Number 72 on the offense. Penalties 5 yards from the previous spot. Still 1st down.
When you're struggling on offense and having trouble moving the football for positive yardage, you can't keep giving yourself negative yardage with mental mistakes. If the defense whips you and sacks you or hits you behind the line of scrimmage and they just outplay you, that's one thing. But when you just give them 5 yards and go backwards willingly because of mistakes, well, that's crucial.
Number of penalty yards creeping up on the yards of total offense. 1st down and 15. Draw play. Darby hit from behind. And he gets 6 back. It'll be 2nd down and 9.
Auburn showing a lot more cover 2 right now, and the reason for that is they've got an 18-point lead. So Alabama needs 3 scores to get back in this ball game, and so they don't want to get beat with an easy one by having too many people up around the line of scrimmage. A lot more cover 2. They'll allow Alabama to run the football because right now, with just about 10 minutes left in the ball game, the clock is on Auburn's side.
2nd and 7. Flag.
There's a flag.
I've never seen this. Is
Dead ball. False start. Number 61 on the offense. Penalties 5 yards from the previous spot. Still 2nd down.
Well, you take 9 sacks given up by the offense and 6 false start penalties.
There might be more negative yardage than positive yardage in the game if you added it up.
So 2nd down and 12. That was B.J. Stabler. 28-10. 9:43 to go. Croyle. Tipped. Incomplete. Was tipped by Travis Williams, a middle linebacker who got back in coverage. Telling us yesterday this new defense under David Gibbs requires him to get into pass coverage a lot.
Well, this is a pro defense, and David Gibb came from the NFL. This is what a lot of teams call 2 Tampa, which means it's 2 deep safeties, but the middle linebacker turns and runs for that seam route. Whoever they're trying to get down the middle, that middle linebacker has to turn and run underneath it. And Travis Williams did a great job that time.
David Gibbs' father, Alex Gibbs, one of the fine coaches, offensive line coaches in the business, and they spent some time here when he was a boy, when his dad was on the Auburn staff. 3rd and 12. Blitz. Croyle. 10 sacks. 10. 1-0.
Well, this is a combination of a couple things. This is really going to not be that terrible protection. You've got 2 backs in to help with the protection, so you've got 7 guys to block.
And the protection is pretty decent right here. But nobody's open. Nobody's open for Alabama. And when Brodie Croyle tries to leave the pocket, that's when he gets sacked by Travis Williams. Initially, the protection was okay, but there was nowhere to throw the football.
10 sacks. Here's the 10th punt. Jeremy Schatz. Trey Smith calls for the fair catch, lets it bounce. This one's going to be favorably downed by Alabama inside the 10-yard line. 46-yard punt, nothing on the return. Eight minutes and 35 seconds to go. The Iron Bowl from Auburn. Tigers lead by 18.
The Home Depot SEC on CBS is sponsored by Advance Auto Parts, Wrangler, Aflac, and by Cadillac.
(28-10) Auburn with 8:35 to go. Let's check the CBS Sportsline stat of the game. This is the kind of a trifecta you do not want to see. 10, 10, and 10. Quarterback sacks, punts, penalties, and 76 total yards. For complete game stats, go to CBSSportsline.com.
Yeah, it's really been an amazing performance by the Auburn defense, but in a lot of cases, Alabama's helped them with those motion penalties.
Here's Kenny Irons. He bolts out to the 21-yard line and picks up a quick first down. That's a gain of 11.
I think the Alabama defense has been on the field a long time. They're a little fatigued, and Kenny Irons is not. And the Auburn offensive line opened up some nice holes in there for Kenny Irons. The last two possessions, he's run the football very well.
And he's closing in on his 6th 100-yard game in succession. 22 carries, 92 yards for Kenny Irons. First down and 10. With 8:05 to go. Here's the change from Brandon Cox. They'll give it to Irons. He comes right.
Kenny Irons carry.
Well, listen up, partner. Let's go back to Tim Brando in New York.
I have good news for you, Vern. Penn State, or at least for Todd. Penn State now with 14 points off Michigan State turnovers. Drew Stanton with 3 picks after one of those. Michael Robinson hits Deion Butler. 24-7 Nittany Lions. They could get their first Big Ten title since '94.
Second and 8 at the 23.
Smiles back.
Hail to the Lion.
Now, I'm still relishing Texas Lutheran's season-ending victory over Hardin Simmons to knock them out of the Division III playoffs. And, of course, Tracy Wolfson's the one with the long face today since Michigan lost. Here's Irons again.
Irons picks up 2 yards.
Kenny Irons and Kenneth Darby, you've mentioned several times the difference in their styles.
Well, both ran for over 1,000 yards this season, but both do it a little bit differently. Kenneth Darby is a stop and start, make you miss guy. Kenny Irons is a north and south, finish strong, break tackles at the end of the run. And both effective. Both have had outstanding seasons. And I think Kenny Irons' emergence for this Auburn offense is he and Brandon Cox. I mean, you mentioned it, their numbers, scoring more and yardage per game better than last year's undefeated team.
This time Irons is stuffed. It'll be 4th down, and Auburn will give up the football with 6:32 to go. There is a flag down. Oh, it's timeout. Crimson Tide used one of their 3, and that stops the clock with 6 minutes and 32 seconds remaining. The Iron Bowl from Auburn. Tigers lead by 18.
You can not play all year, and you know, you can make a big catch in the Iron Bowl, and you're going to be remembered forever in Alabama history. And that's just the way this game is. You know, this is the game everybody remembers. You know, we can go 1-10. If we beat Auburn, everybody's happy. And you know, we hadn't done it yet as a senior class, and that ain't how you want to go out.
A formidable challenge for Brodie Croyle in this Alabama offense. They're down by 18, and they have never beaten Auburn. 0-3.
This Auburn
senior class, 15 of them. If they win today, ties the best record over a 4-year period for a senior class at Auburn.
Cody Bliss line drives this one, and it goes out of bounds inside the 30 near the 28-yard line. That's a 53-yard punt, nothing on the return.
We talked about Brody Croyle not wanting to be remembered by a game like this, but very difficult. 26 pass plays Alabama has run today. Brody has 7 completions, 9 incompletions, and 10 sacks. I mean, that's just a difficult afternoon.
Time has been called with 6 minutes, 23 seconds remaining. We've mentioned throughout the evening that both Alabama and Auburn with 1 defeat in the conference, and both of those defeats in overtime to Louisiana State. So Auburn apparently, barring some miracle climb by Brody Croyle and the Crimson Tide, will win 4 in a row, and Alabama, unless they can find 19 points in the last 6:23, will wind up losing their last 2 regular season games. Here is Croyle back. McClever coming with the pressure. He goes deep, and it's caught.
Wow, what a catch.
That's a pretty good start climbing the mountain. Nick Walker, the tight end.
Well, they've tried to go to that well 3 times, and they've not been able to connect. And this time, a perfect throw again against cover 2. There's a soft spot. 2 deep safeties. There's an open spot right there, and the tight end is going to run right into that spot, and Brody Croyle is going to hit him with the football. Again, you see Travis Williams trying to run under the throw, but that was just a beautifully thrown ball by Brody Croyle over the linebacker Williams, right into the waiting arm of his tight end Walker.
Gain of 34. Play fake for Croyle. And he comes left this time and overthrows Keith Brown. It'll be incomplete. 2nd down and 10. Croyle for the day, 8 of 18. A 28-10 game. Well, one of those who has enjoyed the game today down on the sidelines for a while was Charles Barkley, one of the greatest athletes in Auburn history. He's not the only superstar athlete we've got in the crowd today. Elvis Stojko, twice an Olympic silver medalist in skating, is here.
In the building.
A Canadian. Elvis is in the building. 2nd down and 10. Here's Croyle, Keith Brown, left side, not much doing. Which leads me to just a shameless promo here, Todd, that Wednesday night or Thursday night in Peoria, Illinois, we taped Ice Wars, the 12th chapter. Battle of the Sexes.
I just don't know of anybody that can go from Ice Wars to the Iron Bowl in a matter of 24 hours. That is just, that's spectacular.
Elvis Stojko, he said to Tracy Wolfson and me, where are you guys going this weekend? We said Alabama Auburn. He said, so am I. So here he is. Ice Wars will air on December 10th. It's 3rd and 8. Croyle avoids the rush, but this one could be trouble. Darby out of the tackle, down the sidelines. A good effort by Kenneth Darby.
Very close. I mean, he really accelerated for that 1st down marker. And I thought he might get forced out of bounds before he got to it, but it looks just from the spot like he's got it. Look at the acceleration by Ken Darby after the catch. He gets away from Antarius Williams, and then watch him accelerate towards that 1st down marker. That is, again, another individual effort by Darby. Outstanding.
110 total yards for Kenneth Darby. And a 1st down and 10. 28-10, 5:02 to go. Coffee in for Darby. Croyle pumps once.
Throw it away.
And he does, but it's complete. So in the effort to get rid of it, he finds DJ Hall.
Again, Auburn's philosophy right now is they're playing a lot of cover 2, and they're just trying to keep everything in front of them and not give up a big, easy score, because the clock is on their side and the score is on their side.
That was close, wasn't it? Yeah, it looked like
standing on the sideline.
Looked like that left foot might have been on the line. They do not stop the clock and review it, so the play will stand. It's 2nd down and 7.
Blitz
comes the blitz. Croyle steps up, finds DJ Hall, first down at the 13-yard line.
That was a nice job by Alabama picking up the blitz. The blitz came from outside, and if they bring more guys than you can block, the key is you've got to pick off the inside guys. Don't let anybody come in this way. If the blitz comes, make them come from the furthest distance away, and that's what happened. They were solid on the inside, and Brodie Croyle was able to step up and flick it to DJ Hall for the first down.
Here's Croyle back, goes deep left side. Tipped. Whoa.
Nice play by Wilhite. Timed his jump perfectly to flick that away. I thought Keith Brown was going to have a touchdown there. Wilhite is a sophomore from Monroe, Louisiana, timed his jump perfectly and was able to knock the ball away.
Second and 10 at the 13.
Jonathan Wilhite announced this week that he doesn't like that name. Whoops, Mike Shula thought they had one. So Jonathan Wilhite has asked that he be called Jay, as in J-A-E.
Well, he deserves to be called Jay after a play like that. That was pretty strong.
He wants Jay. Jay it'll be. Croyle settles for the short man, and he is high-load. That's Matt Caddell, and that brings up a third down.
And again, Auburn is playing the clock here as we approach 4 minutes left in the ball game. Tommy Tuberville knows they got 3 scores ahead of Alabama. Just make them execute and keep that clock rolling.
It's a 3-possession game.
It is.
Under 4, 3rd and 5. DJ Hall, Walker go to the right side. That's Ezekiel Knight in motion. Quick strike, incomplete. Keith Brown at the goal line. Jay Wilhite.
You know, a quick slant throw. It looked like a good throw. Tight coverage, but this has been a problem for the Alabama receivers over the last month of the season. They're not a physical bunch, and they've got to get more physical both on running their routes and then catching it strong in traffic. They're fast, they're tall, and they're rangy, but they aren't physical right now. And that's the next step for these Alabama receivers.
4th and 5. Ball back, 11th sack. Antarius Williams. The 11th sack of Brodie Croyle in this ball game.
No, Chris Capps, the left tackle, is late getting out of his stance. No chance to pick up the speedy linebacker, Antarius Williams. What a performance. You know, Tommy Tuberville said, I've been involved coaching defense my whole career, and we haven't been too good on defense. We've been up and down, shaky the last couple weeks. They weren't shaky today, boy.
Right side for Kenny Irons as he works toward 100 yards for the day. And Antarius Williams with the 11th sack of Brodie Croyle in the ball game. 3:15 to go. 98 yards, 2 more for his 6th 100-yard effort. Brodie Croyle's final game in the SEC.
Not only does it hurt physically, but it hurts emotionally right there in that moment. It's the last game.
Irons, he won't get 100 here. D'Amico Ryans gets him. 2:39 to go in this one. Let's go back and spend another moment with Tim Brando in New York.
All right, Vern, at that Apple Cup game, Washington State got its first Pac-10 win of the year. You see Ty Willingham trying to find Wazoo coach Bill Doba. A little skirmish broke out afterwards. Familiarity can sometimes breed contempt. They did restore order. 26-22 the final. Washington State. Vern?
3rd and 8 here. And time has been called by Alabama. And while we've got a moment during the timeout, let's take a look at the play of the game presented by Wrangler 5-Star Premium Denim Jeans. Here's Rod Bramlett of the Auburn Radio Network.
And they'll fake the handoff and give it to Obamanu on the reverse. 45-40, got it blocked. 35-30, cuts it left. 25-20 to the 15, to the 10. There goes Ben to the 5. Touchdown, Auburn!
That made it 21-0, and it's now 28-10 with 2:29 to go in this ball game. Former offensive coordinator here. He played football at Georgia. Hugh Null, now the offensive line coach. He was the recipient of the game ball of that 31-30 victory last week. Tragedy struck the Null family a little over a week ago when his 54-year-old brother Bill died of a massive heart attack at the age of 54. Tragic time for the Null family. He and his brother used to talk every Friday, and condolences to him and the family for the loss of Bill Null. Here's Kenny Irons trying to get to 100 yards. That might do it for him. It'll be 4th down. We'll see if he got it for the 6th consecutive game. 28 carries, 103 yards. Kenny Irons joins a pretty select group of running backs at Auburn University.
You could make an argument about Auburn. 13-0 last year. Appears that they will move to 9-2 this year. 22-2 over the last 2 years here. And they did it this year without 4 first-round draft picks who came off that team last year. 5 field goals missed down in Baton Rouge. There's not a whole lot that separates the teams in the SEC this year. This team here looks to be almost as good as that team down in Baton Rouge.
Will Herring, number 35, senior, who was a quarterback in high school, was telling us yesterday he grew up in Opelika, which is very close to here, and he remembered being a 7-year-old attending the 1989 game here. He sat for that game right near this end zone, and he watched James Joseph score the first game for Auburn. It was the first time Alabama had ever agreed to play here. Will Herring telling us he got chills still thinking about being present at that game, a 30-20 Auburn victory. And then he got more excited late last night when his alma mater, Opelika, knocked off formerly undefeated Prattville 17-15.
He was very confident about it when we met with him yesterday, too.
Opelika is going to play Daphne in the state semifinals. And this punt is out of bounds. And in the other semifinal will be Hoover. They ousted formerly undefeated Tuscaloosa County, and they'll take on Oak Mountain.
And you're going to run for commissioner next year, right?
No, I'm going to be without a trace. That would be me. Or I might show up on CSI Miami, but probably it'll be a 48 hours mystery. That's the lineup tonight on CBS. Tommy Tuberville, he said this game is much worse on the coaches than it is the players. First down and 10 at the 46, and a new quarterback, John Parker Wilson. That's the final SEC game for Brody Croyle. And John Parker Wilson, the freshman whose mom and dad are Alabama graduates, is on. Brody Croyle, 5th-year senior from Rainbow City. His dad, John, great star at Alabama in 1973. His sister Reagan, an outstanding basketball player. She married a former Alabama quarterback, and he has played his final SEC game for the Crimson Tide. And this one is going to be ruled down at the 35-yard line. 1:37 to go in this one. Let's spend another moment with Tim.
All right, fellas, the end of a career for Bill Snyder at Kansas State. They scored the final 22 points of the game. This final pick, Brandon Archer with a 45-yard interception. 136 wins for Coach Snyder. That's 2 more than the 52-year total of other coaches prior to his arrival.
Gosh, you remember when that was just here's a toss into the end zone, incomplete. Broken up. It was intended for Matt Caddell. Well, Bill Snyder announcing his retirement. Patrick Lee defending.
You mentioned Hoover High School. That's where John Parker Wilson played last year. Very
Outstanding passing offense in high school football. John Parker Wilson's got a bright future at the University of Alabama.
His mom was an Alabama cheerleader. Dad graduated from there. And he's on in relief of Brody Croyle, whose remaining game will be a bowl game as the Alabama Crimson Tide will wind up 9-2. And another pre-snap penalty. If this is a false start, it will be number 7.
Yeah. Well, Chris Capps moved early because he's still having to try to block Stanley McClover out there without any help.
Dead ball. Ball start. Number 72 on the offense. The penalty's 5 yards from the previous spot. It's still second down.
See number 75, high ankle sprain. We're going to choose him as the player of the game, representative of the entire Auburn defense. McClover had 3 sacks, 3 of the 11. And a fine game for number 75 and this Auburn defense. Second down and 15 with 1:24 to go. Almost got sack number 12. Here's John Parker Wilson trying to buy some time. Heaves it deep. It will be incomplete. And a flag is down. He was beyond the line of scrimmage.
You know, Auburn still hoping.
Illegal pass on the offense, number 14. He was beyond the line of scrimmage when he threw the ball. The penalty's 5 yards from where he threw the pass. It is a loss of down also. It'll be third down.
Auburn still hoping for a shot to get to Atlanta. LSU will play Ole Miss later on this evening. The last 3 ball games they've won have been decided by a total of 7 points. So that might be a little tougher down in Oxford. Then the following week, an Arkansas team that is getting better and better each week. Another big win today over Mississippi State for Houston Nutt's young squad.
Draw play. This is Tim Castile. Travis Williams, one of the seniors. 15 seniors for this Auburn Tiger team. 39-11 ties the school record for most wins in a 4-year period. They were part of the undefeated team, 13-0 a year ago. A hiccup against Georgia Tech in the season opener. A loss in overtime to LSU. They're going to wind up 9-2.
It's hard to imagine that 2 years ago.
Here's the toss by John Parker Wilson, up for grabs, caught by DJ Hall, and he's down at the 1-yard line.
Complete to number 22, DJ Hall.
Well, it was definitely a Hail Mary type play. 3 Alabama receivers, and DJ Hall just went up higher than anybody and caught the football.
So a chance to cut the margin to 11 if they get the touchdown and the extra point. 28 seconds to go. John Parker Wilson reaches across. Touchdown, Alabama. With 23 seconds remaining.
I still want to make the point about that guy, Tommy Tuberville. Not happy that Alabama scored here late in the game, but it's hard to imagine that 2 years ago today, or this weekend, that Tommy Tuberville was very close to losing his job. As you see John Parker Wilson stretch that football over the goal line. And all he's done since then is win 22 games, an SEC championship, lose 2. Could have had a team last year that might have been capable of playing USC and doing very well in a championship game, and coming very close to repeating a trip to Atlanta this year.
Alabama will go for 2. Here's John Parker Wilson, drills it, and it is caught, and it is good for the 2 points. So that will make it 28-18 with 23 seconds to go. Well, we were talking with Tommy Tuberville yesterday, and that November 17th, a notorious time here as you look at the 2-point conversion. And this goes into the category of a story which might be continued. You're on the edge of your seats, aren't you? We'll begin with the NFL today at noon Eastern time, then doubleheader coverage for you. 1 o'clock and 4:15 the time of the games tonight. Without a trace, CSI Miami and 48 Hours Mystery. The onside kick. Oh boy, that was a little sloppily played.
Got to the last line of defense there.
Taken by number 20, Patrick
Matthew
Lee.
Motley was able to come up with the football. That's what you want on an onside kick, is that ball to bounce up high. Boink right over the head, but Motley able to make the grab. The hands team on the field there.
Well, Tommy Tuberville, just to conclude the story, we were chatting with Tommy yesterday. He said, you know, it was 2 years ago, Thursday night, that the plane took off and flew to Louisville. Aboard the plane, Dr. William Walker, then the president of Auburn University. Couple of trustees, the athletic director. The plane was owned by Bobby Lauder. They went to try and ask Bobby Petrino if he would come here and replace Tommy Tuberville. That obviously did not happen, and Tommy Tuberville is getting another shower as the Auburn Tigers defeat Alabama for the 4th consecutive year. Brody Croyle's final game in the SEC. The Auburn Tigers go to 9-2. Alabama's 9-2. For Tracy Wolfson, Todd Blackledge, I'm Vern Lundquist. We will see you next week in Gainesville.